How's it going, everybody? It's been incredibly long since I've produced any new content, and not for lack of effort. I've been doing a lot of different things, and it's kind of been maximizing my time. But had some new content that I wanted to upload today, and honestly, I'm not even sure where this channel's going half of the time. I started it off as an off-road channel. Sometimes we offer some other things, like I have some CAD tutorials and some tutorials in Photoshop and some other things. I even have some marine content. But I have a new driver and lots of time and opportunity and research trying to find the right vehicle for him to drive. And he's been driving my Toyota Tundra for the last couple of months since he got his license, and at 11 miles per gallon, not the wisest choice. I have a 4Runner as well, also not great on fuel. We have an old Toyota Land Cruiser that's even worse than any of those. So we wanted to find something that was efficient, safe, obviously, fun to drive, and sporty. So one of the things we really were looking for was a manual transmission, and quite frankly, there's just not a lot of vehicles out there offered in a manual that has all the creature comforts and safety features as well as the efficiency that I was looking for and the performance. And so we arrived at what we arrived at. Honestly, I'd looked at this vehicle for a number of months. They're just available, so I've been watching some of the media guys, some of the YouTube media guys who are test driving it all over the country. I've seen guys out of Canada testing it, and awesome reviews. Really helped me make the decision on whether I was doing the right thing. I actually ordered this in November. I tracked it. Tracked it along the way. It was built in the second or third week in January. It shipped soon thereafter, shipped by rail out of Canada, and arrived. They sent it down near Baltimore. So I'm on the East Coast. Sent it down near Baltimore, and from there they truck it out to the dealerships. It arrived earlier in the week, and I picked it up today. Here we are. So my perspective is probably a little bit different than those media influencers that are out there in the automotive side. I'm a dad with a kid who wants to have something that is safe and reliable and also fun. And ultimately, this is what we arrived at. So what we arrived at is this 2022 Honda Civic Si. It is in Sonic Gray. And there were a couple of other colors that we looked at, but honestly, this one I think jumped out more than anything. I have a Cavalry Blue TRD Pro 4Runner, and I always loved blue, and my truck is silver, and I've always loved silver, and so this is kind of like a mix of those two. So it's sort of I don't know if it's a grayish blue or if it's a bluish gray. It's one of those two, and it is just absolutely super cool. So as I mentioned, we were looking for something that was manual transmission. The Civic Si is only available as a manual, and they're not really available with a whole lot of options. So the only options you can get are all-season tires, which are standard, which is what I got, or you can get a summer tire. I think that's an extra $200, and I did not opt for that. In fact, we actually went to grab this today because we're supposed to get some pretty terrible winter weather, and so the all seasons are going to be just awesome for us. So some things that this is missing, and I almost canceled my order, to be honest with you. This is missing compared to the Canadian market. So see a little opening right there? The Canadians get fog lights, and we don't get fog lights here in the United States. And I can't tell you why. I can just tell you that we don't, and that kind of bugged me. I'll show you what else we don't get. We don't get a heated steering wheel for whatever reason, nor do we get heated seats, and we also don't get the wireless charging. And I think that's a little bit annoying, honestly. Not only do we not get those couple of things, we get to pay a little bit more than our Canadian friends pay. And that's a real kicker for me. But, you know, it is what it is, and it is what it is, I guess. That's the only thing I can say about it. So one of the biggest surprises that I got in picking this up, so I just picked it up 2 hours ago, and drove it home, and the dealership that I got it from, Bobby Rahal Honda, sorry, they have a Toyota dealership and an Acura, but Bobby Rahal Honda in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Guys were really good, and treated me right. One of the things I appreciated about them was they were not putting a surcharge on top of MSRP, so they were only charging MSRP. They felt that it was unfair to people to charge over MSRP. I got to be honest with you, I don't love paying MSRP, but in this world, I paid MSRP. It is what it is, but nothing more than that. But on the way home, it's about a 60-mile drive on the way home, and it's really flat. So I was like, I'm really curious what the fuel mileage, because honestly, like, obviously we want the performance and we want the safety. What's the fuel economy? Because him driving that Tundra around is killing him. You know, we make him put gas in it, and honestly, you know, it's a small fortune to put gas in something that's getting 11 miles per gallon. Not a lot of highway between where he drives between here and school. So this is rated for, I think, 37 on the highway, and I forget what it is around town, with a combined around 31 or 32, something like that. No joke, it got 45 miles per gallon on the way home. So I kept it at 60. I was utilizing the cruise control. Just I want to see how it worked, and all the safety features, you know, having it steer itself, and actually more than 45 miles per gallon. It was like 45.5 or 45.6 miles per gallon. Absolutely incredible. I wasn't hammering it, honestly. I just kind of let it do its thing, and just trying to break it in. We have about 60 miles on it at this point, and I'm tickled with the mileage, and I'm tickled with the way that it drives. The performance is fantastic. The 6-speed, been a while since I've driven a manual. My previous manual was a 6-speed manual Maxima. I had a 5-speed manual Maxima before that. I had a TDI that was a 6-speed as well. Pretty much all my cars were manuals until one day they weren't, and I hadn't gone back until this one. So you can have any transmission in this one you want, just so long as it's a manual, and that's honestly part of the reason that we picked it. We were concerned. I gotta show you this. So I'm 6'2". We were concerned that there wasn't gonna be enough leg room in it. My son is taller than I am, and I don't know how much you can see here, but if I put the seat all the way back, which I don't have it right now, if I put it all the way back, I can barely push the pedal down. Let me fire this thing up. This is only the second time I started it, so I don't know if you noticed that right there. How do I make that happen? Oh, I think it's because I don't have my seatbelt on. Let's see. So we're learning new things. There you go. It doesn't want to show you anything until you put your seatbelt on, I guess. 42 miles per gallon. Now, that's after me playing around here at the house, driving it around, ripping around when we got back. And it's still showing over that. You can see I have 74 miles on it. I think it had 11 on it when I got it. Or no, it was 9. It was actually 9 miles. So pretty awesome. Pretty excited about it. There's on the gauges, I really like the range and the fuel. There is some other things on here that I'm not quite sure. No, that wasn't one of them. Not speed and time, not audio, not phone. The turbo gauge is cool. I think the more you watch that, the less fuel economy you're going to get, but that's part of the fun, I guess. Driver attention, I haven't figured that out yet. I really don't know what that is. Throttle and brake, again, not exactly sure. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's testing my brake pressure. So as I push down on the brake, it tells how many PSI I'm putting. Let's see if the throttle. There you go. I'm not quite sure why you would want to do that, but it's brake pressure. Interesting. Literally just saw that for the first time. The G meter I haven't messed with, the stopwatch, seatbelts. You can evidently, some people don't know they have people in the back or sitting next to them. So this car will tell you if you have a person sitting there and if they have their seatbelt on. You know, I kind of grew up, I guess I'm old enough now that I know if I have other people in the car with me, and I know they have seatbelts on, and if they don't, I threaten them to put their seatbelt on. So I guess that's the difference between you know, being born now and being born when I was born. I don't know. Safety support. This is the interactive cruise control. I'm not sure what Honda's actual name for it is. And the steering, man, that works great. It's absolutely incredible. So I've been very, very happy with that. Some other things that I thought were awesome. So down here, we have the drive modes, and push it up or down. It's in normal mode right now. It may start in normal mode because I'm pretty sure I had it in sport. To put it in sport, you just push it up, and then you can choose individual mode. And in individual mode, this pops up over here. You can customize what you want for individual. I haven't done any of that yet. What I can tell you between individual and sport, just playing around on my way home, or I'm sorry, between normal and sport. In normal, the steering is much lighter. You don't, you know, it just basically makes the steering a little bit easier, and you don't, as far as I can tell, you don't get any of the fed-in audio over the system. When you put it into sport mode, that's when it pumps audio, and I thought it was going to be intrusive and awful, and honestly, I didn't think it was any of those things. I thought it was pretty good. So down here, there is a parking brake. Let's see. I'm not sure. Let's turn this parking brake off. I don't even know how to turn it off. To release parking brake, brake, and push. Oh, you got to have your foot on the brake. All right. So again, we're learning stuff. Let me turn this off. Let's pretend that it's off and it's in first gear. I hop in. I fire it up. So it does not look like the parking brake sticks. Let's see if when you put the parking brake on and you shut it off. Let's pretend like I got out of the car and I got back in. We'll give it a moment. The brake is still on. I don't know why that is. Let's pretend like we locked it. So it says the brake on there. The brake is still on there. Maybe that goes off eventually. I don't know. Oh, there it goes. It goes off. All right, so now we're going to unlock it. We're going to pretend like we're getting in and starting it. All right, good. So parking brake does still remain on. So that's good. I wasn't quite sure how that worked. So to get the parking brake back off, you can't turn the parking brake off until you put your foot on the brake. Now the parking brake goes off. Brake hold is interesting also. So if you have a kid new to, or a person new, anybody new to driving a manual, one of the things you always worry about is how much is this going to drift on me if I'm trying to start out on an incline. Brake hold, when you push that on, you guys see that right there. So I'm going to put brake hold on here. It pops on there. See how you can cycle that on and off. As soon as you put your foot on the brake, the little green hold light comes on, and that holds you in place until you go to start out. And as soon as you start out, I don't know if you noticed that, it went away. So when we put my foot back on the brake, go to pull out, it goes away. Right? I like that a lot. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It's my first experience with one of these, so maybe I won't mind it at some point. I couldn't figure out why the heck this one go off. I'm pulling it both ways. You gotta be smarter than the brake, and evidently all you have to do is turn it off. Some other quick things. Love this. Super simple. You know, basically auto is what I'm always going to leave it on. That turns the fan up and down. Really awesome detents on the buttons, so you can completely feel that. The modes, if you guys can see that or not. Different modes. So unless you're going to have it in defrost, I would just push auto and be happy about that. Okay. Up here, man, there's a lot of information. So none of my vehicles that I have quite this much stuff going on with them. The long and short of it, that's how you get to Sirius. I'm going to take that off so that I don't break any copyrights. All the apps are up here. Evidently, we're in a spot here we can show what you want to have on the home screen. As I told you, I have almost no experience with this thing at this point, so I'm not even sure where the home screen is at this point. Apple CarPlay gets us into whether you want to use Waze or Pandora. Some text messages there as well. So kind of cool. And there we get back to the home screen. So I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out. Looks like Amazon Music is on there, Waze, Pandora, Sirius, Spotify. I don't know if they auto update or not. Somebody's texting me and calling me, so I'll figure that out in a little bit. I don't know what that is. Oh, there we go. So that's the Honda app. So Trip Computer, I was playing around with that a little bit. I didn't do anything with USB. Bluetooth I was messing around with a little bit. System updates, I haven't messed with any of that either. So literally have just a couple of miles on this thing in just a few hours, but liking it so far. So under here is where all the magic happens. There's actually, I noticed this, there's two spots to prop the hood. So there's this spot right here, and then there's a service prop. So if you put it down here, that hood will like flip almost vertical, which is kind of cool. I was looking for where I need to check the oil. There's where you check the oil. We haven't found the oil filter yet. My guess is it's way down underneath there. There's a pan under there, so I haven't crawled under to look at it. I'm not that concerned about it right now. The turbos are right here. There is, I was pretty excited to see that there you can actually hear the turbo spool, and you can hear a little bit of when you let off. Like if you have the music down, you can hear that, and I like that. I think that's kind of cool. Battery's very easily accessible. I'm assuming these are the fuses. Yeah, I'll open that up later when I have two hands that I can check it out. Airbox. There is a company out there, I can't think of who it is, maybe you guys can put it in the comments, that has something that it intensifies the blow off sound, the pressure release on the turbo, and it's just something small that fits underneath the airbox, I believe, somewhere. So I'm sure my son is going to want to play around with that. We'll check that out. I remember something else that's interesting. So I've owned SUVs and trucks for a really long time now. It's been so long since I've owned a car that I was looking around to try and find the key to open the trunk, or there is a release inside, but these have something down here. There we go. That opens the trunk up. And here's something that you're going to find interesting. If you're looking for the spare tire, you'll be looking for a long time, because there is none. Evidently, Honda considers this SI enough of a sports car that the dealership said they don't put spare tires in sports cars, which is kind of interesting to me, because I think you could probably put a spare tire down there no problem. Almost sounds like an easy way to get out of having to put a spare tire in. Instead, they give you a compressor, and I'm assuming this is, I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know if that's for, I don't know. Supposedly there's like a slime somewhere that you put in there. I don't know. That's what, I have to read up on that a little bit. But that compressor, instead of putting a spare tire on, you're evidently supposed to plug your tire. So I get that. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with that. I'm an off-road guy, so we plug tires all the time and we carry compressors all the time. Not a huge deal for me. I think it'd be interesting if my wife had to plug the tire, or if my mom. Well, I don't think either one of those would ever be able to do that. Or actually, I don't think my son either. So if we're being completely fair here and unbiased, I'm not sure how many people know how to plug a tire that aren't off-road people. The dealership was supposed to send me a bunch of videos that they want me to watch, and I'd be interested to see if that's one of the videos. So I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I wasn't even sure where my channel is going at this point. I originally started as an off-road content channel, and with the work that I do with UTV Off-Road Mag and UTV Driver Mag and ATV Rider Mag, be a good cross with that activity that I do. And then COVID hit, and I ended up creating content where teaching kids how to draw in SolidWorks and CAD, and how to edit in Photoshop and do stuff like that. It went that way. And then we did some marine content and some RC car stuff. So at this point, I'm not sure what personality this channel has, other than I'm going to keep producing content on stuff that's fun and interesting to me, and if it helps other people out, helps them make a decision, that's what I'm going to do. So to summarize this video, hopefully what I covered basically goes through some of the information that none of the other providers have covered. I'm just a dad trying to put my family in something that is safe, but I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be boring. So that's what we came up with: safe, efficient, and the 2022 Honda Civic Si is an awesome car. And if you have other content, other questions, other information that you want, absolutely feel free to comment. I'm happy to produce this content and give my son an opportunity to help with this as well too. This is going to be something that he plays around with a lot as well too. I'm going to have to say no to a lot of aftermarket parts, I feel, in my near future. And anyhow, definitely subscribe if you've not. Make a comment. Happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Have a great day.